Hey guys, Mr. Farmer here again. Today we're doing Chapter 6, Geometric Construction Tools with Autodesk Inventor. Ooh. We've got a few objectives to knock out today. Apply geometry constraints, use the trim and extend commands, use the offset command, understand the profile sketch approach, create a projected geometry, understand and use reference geometry, edit with click and drag, and use the auto dimension command. So lots of stuff to knock out. We're going to use this gasket that they've provided on page 6-3 as an example today. I'm going to show you some of the constraints that we'll be using throughout the rest of the year. So we'll start with a part. I just messed up. We're not going to start with a part because this part is not in inches. This part is in millimeters. So what do we do here? How do we start a part in millimeters? And let me go ahead and tell you, if the part is in millimeters, if it's metric units, and you begin modeling it in inches, there is not a quick and easy way to fix that. Let me say that one more time. If you start modeling a part in inches, and it's supposed to be in millimeters or metric units, there is not a quick and easy way to fix that. You usually have to start all the way over from scratch. So please pay attention to your units. Before you ever start modeling, you should ask yourself, hey, is this in inches or is this in millimeters? Because if you ask yourself that question after you spent an hour working on it, you may not like the outcome. So we're going to start this part in millimeters. So we're going to go to File, New. Oh my goodness, I keep messing up. Just click New right up here, and this is going to take you to all of your different templates, right? And there's actually there's a few different templates that you can use here. But if you open up this folder, this is English US. We've got English units, metric units, and mold design. You're not going to use mold design, that's for way later on. But you will use English units, that's the standard inch part that we've been using. And you will use metric, so you're going to use the standard millimeter part. So the two files that we're talking about here are English standard inch.ipt, Inventor part file, and metric standard millimeter.ipt, Inventor part file, or actually Inventor part template. So this is in millimeters. Very good. Okay, so we're going to start this gasket design. We're going to start with a rough sketch. I'm going to start on the XY plane, as is my tradition. And I'm just going to kind of rough sketch this thing out here. Let's see. Actually, I'm going to start this the way the book is doing it. That way I can show you some of the dimensioning techniques that they're using. So this is a very rough sketch. I'm going to draw a circle over here. You may be thinking, what is he doing? Don't worry, we'll get there. We will get there. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to draw a line over here. Good. So I've got this super rough sketch, and what I'm going to do is start applying some dimensions to it. Some dimensions. And let's see, this is in millimeters. This is in millimeters. Let me go to the final sketch here. So I can see what they're doing. Okay. So I know the dimension for some of this stuff. I know from here to here is 200 millimeters. Oh my goodness. Where did the part go? Should we freak out? I think I might just freak out a little bit. No, you don't have to freak out. All you have to do is click the front face of your view cube. Hopefully you've seen this view cube by now. And it will resize your drawing. Look at that. Isn't that handy? So that's 200. We'll say 200. I know that this is 50. And I know from bottom to top is 115. This is starting to look good. And I know from here to here is 40. But so the way this is drawn is not accurate. I need to switch these. This should be in farther than this is. You can do this thing called click and drag, or click to edit, or whatever the name is for it. What is the name we gave? Click and drag. Edit with click and drag. So if a line or if a sketch or if a shape is purple, that means that it is still unconstrained. It can still move around. So I can take this right here and I can actually move it just like that, right? Or I could move this one in, or I could move this circle to the left or up or down. You can click and drag as long as it's purple. Once the line turns black, that means it is locked. So let's see here. From here to here, I know that this is 40. And let's see, what else do I know? 50, 110. Here's a neat little trick. I want to take this bottom line and lock it to the x-axis. How do I do that? I can actually do it with the dimension tool. I can go from bottom line to the origin, and I can make this a dimension of 0. You can have a dimension of 0, right? Click. See how it locks it in there? And I can do the same thing with this line here to the origin. We'll make that 0, and I have locked it in. Okay? I have locked it in. I'm going to move this line over. 0. And this is actually, let's see here, 180. Okay, so we're getting there. We're getting there. On this circle, I'm going to lock. Notice that I can move it up and down, but I cannot move it left and right. So I'm going to place a dimension from here to the bottom, and this dimension is actually 115 as well. So that circle is now locked, and the diameter is going to be 80. See how it just turned black? That means it's locked. And now we are going to take a look at our constraints. We've talked about these briefly in the past. They're right up here at the top. These are the auto constraints. I believe you've already had a quiz on these. So we've got, remember, you can hover to discover, right? So we've got coincident, collinear, concentric, parallel, perpendicular, horizontal, vertical, fixed, tangent, smooth. We've got symmetric, and we've got equal. These are all very useful tools. If you haven't been using them, you need to get in the habit of using them. So I'm going to take this line right here, click, and I'm going to hold Control. I'm holding the Control key, and I'm going to click this circle so they're both highlighted. And I'm going to make these things tangent. See how it just right to the side of that? And then I'm going to use the Trim tool. Here's Trim, and I'm just going to trim what's left of that, right? There's also the Extend tool, which is the opposite of Trim, right? It extends a line out, see that? And then Trim actually cuts that. And you can switch between these tools real quickly by using the Shift command, I believe. Let me see here. Yeah, while we are in either Trim or Extend, you can use Shift, and it will change the tool that you're using. Shift to switch between Trim and Extend. All right, let's get back to our sketch here. How are we doing on time? We're doing good. Okay. So now I want this line to go all the way to the side of the circle. In other words, I want to extend it. I wish there was a tool for that. Oh, wait, there is. It is the Extend tool. So I'm going to click Extend, click, and it runs all the way into the side of that circle. Pretty nifty. Then I'm going to use the Trim command to trim that out. And I want this to be a smooth curve right here. Just a smooth curve with a radius of 25 millimeters. The tool for that is a fillet. So I can change my fillet to 25 millimeters and click here and here. See how that's smoothed out? And I want this to be a fillet of 10 right there. And I want this to be a fillet of 25, and this to be a fillet of 25 as well. This is looking pretty okay. Looks good, looks good. Everything's black. It is locked in place. So I've done my rough sketch. I dimensioned it. I used the Trim tool, I used the Extend tool, I used the click and drag edit methodology. And what we have here is a profile sketch. This is a sketch, right? And let me make sure I'm not messing up here. Yeah. All right. So what we're going to do now is we need to make another sketch that is the same as this, but just a little bit smaller. So here's the photo. Whee. That's what this looks like. So we need to make the same sketch, but just a little bit smaller, like on the inside, right? So you've got two options. You can start from scratch and make a whole nother sketch that matches this up, right? Or, if you're smart, you can take advantage of this thing called the offset tool. Offset tool. The offset tool duplicates selected sketch geometry and dynamically offsets it from the original. In other words, it takes the sketch you have and makes it smaller or larger, which is really handy. So I'm going to offset. I'm going to click the sketch that I have made, and notice what it does. See, I can make a smaller sketch. I can make a larger sketch, but it uses the original sketch as its guide. So I'm going to make it smaller, and the gap between these is going to be 15 millimeters. See how easy that was? 15 millimeters gap between the two. I'm going to finish the sketch, go to home view, and I'm going to extrude. Notice I could extrude this, or the whole thing, right? I only want to extrude the space in between. That's called the annulus. And how thick is it? It is, let's find out, 5 millimeters. 5 millimeters. I'm going to extrude symmetrically. I'm going to hit OK. Good. Done deal. I like to change my view to realistic just because it looks nice. And I'm going to change the material to, I don't know, some kind of rubber. Now, I've already covered how you do that in eye properties, right? I forgot to name my part. Let's do that. Gasket. You can do it in eye properties, right? Eye properties, physical, you can change the material right here. Or there's a shortcut. You can go right up here to the top. You can go right up here to the top and change your material right here. So let's find, we'll make this rubber, blue rubber. Yeah, there we go. So that is my gasket, okay? So I'm going to put it right here on this side of the screen. I'm going to right click, show eye properties, physical update, and then this is what I'm going to turn in. I'm going to turn in a screenshot that shows my part and my eye properties, because I know what is Mr. Farmer checking? Well, he's checking the name of the part. He is checking the mass and the volume and how the part actually looks, right? These are all things that I'm looking for, and then the material that you've selected. You know what I did? I messed up. This is just the appearance right here. You need to change the material on the left. Don't make that mistake. So we said this is rubber. Rubber. There we go. So now we go to eye properties, physical update, and now it says rubber. So let me just fix this. Yeah, so what are we checking? We're checking the name, the material, right? The mass, the volume, and then how the part actually looks. Okay, this is what you would turn in. So I think we've covered all the objectives, constraints, profile sketches, offset, trim, and extend. These are all good things that you should know how to use. As always, if you have questions, feel free to ask in class or shoot me an email. Thanks for watching.